Starting in quarantine without an end in sight, we're bringing to you advice and good conversation from one teenager to another. This is Chelsea with Armbridge, a podcast we hope to be informative and reflective of the everyday world around us. Thank you for joining us today. Today it is May 7th, a Thursday. Last week, Sonika and her special guests went over the topic of fulfillment. As you know from watching last week's episode, we're splitting up to do our own solo episodes with guests of our choice. Now, I think it's been I guess, 2 years since all of us were sort of in the same place. Um, so this is really exciting. This week we're tackling the memory that is high school, all while addressing the perils of our senior year in what can be described as the most disorganized reunion ever. So that's that. This is my podcast. Hello, everybody. Could you all just introduce yourselves with your names, just so you can attribute a name to a voice and stuff? That would be great.
Okay, I will go first. I'm Gabby Pena, one of Chelsea's friends for a long time.
All right, well, I'm Eddie, and yeah, I guess I also go by Edward, but no one calls me that, so yeah, that's what I do too.
So tough.
All right, I'm Matthew. The last name is Z. It's the letter Z. Nothing too hard.
Just the letter Z. Okay. All right. Awesome. So basically, I asked a question on my story, basically asking about what were some things in high school that you regret and that now they just seem really silly. So just things that you sort of worried about, but now it's kind of over. And they were all pretty much categorized into two things. One being grades, I guess. And the other being making friendships and maintaining certain relationships with people in high school. So I guess where do you guys want to start in that sense?
Man, I don't know.
They're both really heavy topics, just on different sides of the spectrum, I guess.
I would go with my first major regret would be straight up just jumping into Spanish 3 as a freshman, because God, I should have waited 1 year later, because our Spanish 3 teacher at the time was this native speaker who treated the class like a straight on just, I don't know, AP Spanish 5, and it was just terrible, man.
Why would you do Spanish?
I don't know. This area was just off the rails. Wait, Chelsea, you were in middle school shit. It's her, but cranked up on steroids. Just
I had
man,
homo
that
the
was
whole
not
time.
fun. It was. I think it's the only class I really ended with a B that year. But I mean, it still stings, man. It still stings. I mean, I could probably be in a better place if I didn't just jump straight in. But I mean, I didn't learn much from it too, because the way she teaches is just whatever. But I mean,
I guess
it's past now. I'm a senior.
Sort of ask at least for me, I had these moments where I took classes because everyone else was taking them, and then at the end of the day I was why did I do that? It just seems like I was going along with something to try to look smart, or I don't know, to sort of do what everyone else was doing.
Oh, I totally get that.
Yeah, I did that as well. There was this horrible engineering class that I took because of this guy that I liked at the time was taking it. And I was okay, I can't wait. I can look smart in front of him. And then my teacher was literally a crackhead. I hated her so much. I that was the closest I've ever gotten to physically assaulting anyone at that school. It was a bad year, and I took it because I wanted to look smart in front of people.
That's
an F, bro.
Mine would be calculus. Calculus BC to AB.
it's so much so nice. It's so calming.
I tried to move. I moved the class because I was trying to hopefully get a better grade for the calculus side, but it didn't do any better. Actually, if I was staying in calculus BC, I might have a better grade in AB, because those crazy curves,
50-point curves, man. I remember that
50-point curve.
Yeah, we got a 50-point curve in BC once, but AB never curves. It's really
I I had that in pre-cal, I would feel like a god. Oh my gosh, that's great. But I guess one of the responses that my friend sent was like, she said that herself personally, like she sort of invested like a lot of her like mental health into pursuing like academic interests that like you truly didn't want to do. So I guess in terms of like maybe like not classes, but were there things like academically that I guess you tried to do and you were like, yeah, I'm so motivated, like especially for me freshman year, I was like trying to get into like science bowl and stuff. And when I got to the bottom of it, I was like, I don't even really care. I was just trying to get clout or something. I don't know what it was. Like, so I guess did you guys have an experience like that?
Yeah.
I can hear that. It's like I heard from like a lot of other friends that I guess like hella competitive and they're like kind of chill except for the really like top 50. Then it gets kind of wild up there, but really hard from what I heard.
Yeah.
Just everything I think hard on top of it being like a really uptight like private school. There's only like 42 kids in my grade, so the top 10% is 4 people. So it's like impossible to get into that because all the other kids, like I think everyone that is those top 4 is like going to like an Ivy League school. It's crazy.
Oh boy, wow, that's wild. That's definitely hard.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, but I was like, oh, you said my internet was bad.
Oh,
dang, man, we got hit with irony right there.
Philippines, yes.
English coming back to slap me in the face.
That like 4-year feud that we like invented. What was that about?
It wasn't even like a feud. It was just us like messing around, dude.
No, but like I feel like Matthew was just so into it, and I was just like going along with it because I was like equally like, what am I gonna do?
Team A, the Asian
I guess
team,
like before we sort of derail. Before we sort of derail back to like high school talks, I guess we should give some context on how we met because this is like sort of not really an interesting story, but I guess like,
it's interesting to us.
It's interesting to us. Yeah, basically, I met you, Gabby, when we were like in elementary school, probably.
Yeah, we've
and Eddie
known each other for a long time.
Yeah, I've known Eddie since middle school, Matthew since middle school. But there was this time basically where we had like this like quote unquote like Asian feud where it was like China versus Philippines, and this was like half of my middle school years just being invested in this like China versus Philippines feud that Matthew sort of incited. And I think at one point he was like, Filipinos are probably descended from like people in China. So, and I was like, what are you like? What kind of point are you trying to make with that? Yeah, it was a pretty fun time during swimming. That was like, it was very chaotic, but I had a lot of fun.
It was extremely chaotic.
Surprisingly, I met all 3 of you guys at the swim team, and not like through middle school or anything else. It's only swim team.
Yeah, straight up though. All of you guys were from the swim team. Wait, where was Lino and Raph though? Aren't they
swim team?
Lino and Raph are swim team, yeah.
Dude, I have not been to spa in like, I don't know. I went to the last practice, I guess, but that was like a training, like the train the little kids kind of deal. I actually have not swam legit since, I don't know, districts, I think. Yeah, that's the last time I actually swam for real.
Last time I swam was about February, and that was because I was at state with my high school swim team.
State? Wow.
Yeah.
Because they're a private school, so they go to the lower.
That's
like
true.
Lower.
Yeah, probably to like 5A or something.
Yeah.
Not even 5A. It has to be lower, right? Logos is not that big, is it?
Logos is tiny as hell. So I don't remember what division we were, but like.
Public school sports are like really hard to get up to there because like when you're in 6A, like if you want to go to like state, you gotta go like freaking Olympic times or something like that. I don't know.
It's like Texas too, so it's like there's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the lower districts again. Me and Eddie were like, breezed through districts, and then regionals, we just got stopped there.
Oh my god, Gabby.
So fast.
If you remember before, like when we would go to swim meets and like look at all the like 12 and under kids go faster than us.
I know.
Oh my god.
That was so traumatizing.
It was like, it like made me so sad. I would just sit there and be like, wow, this like 13-year-old is like 10 times faster than me. Horrible feelings, but you know.
There's probably some of them out there that are like faster than I am right now.
Oh, yeah. The funny thing, actually, I think I saw you, Gabby, at the not that long ago as a Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, I think I saw you too, but I was literally like looking at you, and I was like, oh my god, wait, I know you from somewhere. Is that Matthew? I don't want to that, and then just the fact that I don't think we were like that close of like friends or whatever. I didn't want to be like, hey Matthew, and then you be like, oh, who the fuck is that?
No, it's like we haven't even seen each other in like years to think about, because you left Spa.
Yeah, so I left Spa like so long ago.
Wait, when you left Spa, did you join another club team, or did you just swim for your school only?
Nah, I just swam for my school, because I kind of discovered that I was like, okay, swimming's like not really my thing.
True, so. Yeah. I found that out when it was in my senior year. I really just like slowly dropped out of Spa, but I still go to a gym. Well, when the gyms were open, and then now it's kind of
when the gyms were open, yeah.
I just can't bring myself to go to the pool anymore. You get what I mean? It's kind of like
yeah,
you know, because you remember all the things you like could have done with that. Because like when I quit, like every time I'd come home from school, I'd like calculate the time I would go to swim practice, and then when it would be over, but I would just be sitting alone. I wouldn't be doing it. So it's just like, what do I do with my time now?
Don't worry, you're taking that time for debate.
No, I remember I saw Matthew. I saw you at the Elkins tournament in like February, and I extended my hand to you, right? And you were like, "What do I do with this?" And I was like, "You know what a dap up is, right?" And I was trying to dap you up, and it was just this really weird like pause because I didn't know what to do.
That time you took me to my first debate tournament, and then that ended like terribly. Oh my
it
god!
It ended so terribly. We got one win.
That was the only reason why we won that one round, was because the opponent never showed up.
Hey,
every single time win. you were like carrying my butt off on CX because I had no idea what was going on.
I don't worry though. It wasn't as bad. You're not as bad as the other partners that I had to try out to. This kid, I also did the same thing as you, but he didn't even bring a laptop, so it was even worse. So
the only thing I did better was bring a laptop then.
No, you actually could talk. You couldn't speak. I wrote down his speech.
Your voice is like low key. It could be scary if you used it correctly.
No, I'm serious.
Like, Eddie's voice could be scary.
I know, it's like so deep. I don't know why. It's like,
and that's okay. It's just like it could be used like.
No, Eddie sounds confident.
Condescending.
He was confident. Okay, the kid that I had to work with, I had to write down his speech word for word, and he has to use my laptop because he didn't bring his own, right? So I can't do that. I can't use that extra time to research for more information. So when I gave him the laptop, right, he speaks. He only says word for word, doesn't expand anything at all, exactly word for word. And we made it to quarterfinals, but he quit.
Oh wow!
The day before, that's like on that night for the quarterfinals.
He quit like before you advanced to the next round. Like he just gave up.
Yeah, he advanced.
So you just debated by yourself.
Quarterfinals, and he quit.
What did you do? Did you just?
No, he just says, "I'm quitting. I don't want to do this." I'm like,
"What did you
do? Dude, you get free state points, 2 free state points," and then he's like, "No, I'm quitting." It's like, what? Literally, he's like wasting my time and my effort. It's harsh. So even you, Eddie, you did better. You went all the way through the end. This guy just quit halfway in.
I'm glad. I was kind of debating the next day, but I was like, yeah, I gotta do it for him, man.
You were debating the next day?
Ooh.
That's so funny.
I'm sorry.
But like, yeah, I was like, oh man, that's not my piece of cake. It's really much harder than I did, because I did research some like basic debate stuff I should be preparing for and whatnot the summer before, and then just join it, because it was like what you said earlier about Science Bowl. You do it for the clout, So I was like, okay,
we're circling back. We're coming full circle.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm okay with debate, right? You just research in between, do some facts, rebuttals, whatever, and then I just, because like Matthew couldn't step down to an amateurs tournament, so I had to join him on a high level one, and I got my skull bashed in.
Don't worry, I made sure that we didn't get crushed so badly.
Wow, debate god, Congress captain, very nice.
Well, I mean, this was before I was even Congress captain.
Oh yeah.
This is my prime. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Gabby? What else are you doing other than swim?
Other than swim, I'm editor-in-chief of my school's like journalism team. So.
Whoa! Wow!
Oh dang, we got Pogger in here.
So I kind of got warped into it because I needed journalism. I needed like an elective credit, so I did journalism. Freshman year, I think. Yeah, freshman year. Just to fulfill credit, and then people were like, hey, you take really, really good swimming pictures, because I'd always take the camera with me when I went to like my swim meets, so I took pictures of like everyone else, and eventually I took a lot of really good pictures, and I stuck around for a couple of years, and then they made me in charge for whatever ungodly reason. Which I don't know, but it's so weird, because it's like I tell people that, and then I tell people that like, oh, I want to go into the medical field and be a nurse or whatever, and they're like, why that's journalism and being a nurse.
Whatever you want, bro.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess it's really cool. It brought a lot of stress into my life at some point, because like people in my journalism team don't do their work a lot of the time. But it's something that like I genuinely like grew to enjoy. But yeah. I guess the like stuff I would do would be like I have to make the yearbook. So like everything that entails, I guess, so getting like pictures, writing the stories in the yearbook, and then deciding on, boring stuff like fonts and then covers and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I do in my spare time at school.
Oh, good.
That's definitely good. I think colleges really look at that kind of stuff, so that's gonna be really good for your apps.
Yeah, look for commitment. But we already all got into college, though.
Yeah, we all got into college.
We're all in college.
Is Gabby within our same year or not?
I am. Dude, I was talking about last time how I'm going to A&M in the fall.
We already discussed
I don't know why I thought she was a year younger this whole time. It was kind of like, yeah.
This real senior mentality.
Well, I actually haven't accepted to any schools. I've been admitted but not accepted, so I haven't chosen to go to college yet.
Right, you were telling us you were like deliberating between a few choices, right?
Yeah, and I don't know what to choose. They seem very good. They go hand in hand. I don't know what to choose.
Like, as I mentioned this in the first episode of my podcast, but someone was asking like deciding between colleges, but like for me in my experience, like I had trouble choosing as well, but I was like kind of corny about it. I was like, where do I like see myself going? Like if I don't like see myself going there, like if you don't, I don't know, it's just sort of like an instinctual thing. Like instead of overthinking, it's kind of best to just like automatically pinpoint sort of what you want, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I did as well, because like all the schools I applied to, I knew all of them had really good nursing programs, and I knew that they were all like relatively like fairly good like prices and stuff. So it was, and I know I got into all of them. So it was a like matter of choosing where I wanted to live for the next 4 years, and A&M ended up being the one that I chose because I was like, I want to live here for the next 4 years.
Yeah, it's a cool college town.
Mhm.
Very fun. So, I was there for the summer, like a summer camp. Mm-hmm. Apparently, though, I was in those apartments, and I don't know how weed smells, but apparently there was just someone smoking weed on the apartment complex.
I feel like that's college though. Like that's gonna happen anywhere.
Those sort of depends on like what major you're choosing on, like what school, I guess, because like I don't know, if you go to some like super, I don't know, arts type of colleges, they're probably gonna be like that. But if you go to I don't know, bio or engineering class, I feel like there's gonna be less of that kind of acting. Well, I don't know. I could be wrong sometimes, I suppose.
What's with the fans?
The fans?
It's just both of you guys have.
Are you saying you don't have a fan in your room, Matthew?
I'm not even.
How are you gonna cool down?
Yeah.
I don't even have one in my room. I just have AC.
Really? Oh, I don't know, man. I just have a fan.
To think about it, I only have 2 fans in my house. That's one for the living room and one for the upstairs, like general area, and that's it.
Oh man.
Yeah, you see, when you have a fan in your room, oh no, Gabby left.
Sorry about that. I unplugged my earbuds to.
Oh, that's okay.
You see, when you have a fan in the room, you can't play the ball. You can't play anything in there. You can't jump around or party. You
party? Wow. You party, man?
Yes, I party.
Wow.
Okay, this is weird.
Yeah, okay.
Eddie, are you going to improve your golfing skills?
Golfing?
Golf?
I don't know, Chief. Well, last time I took him out to Top Golf, and yeah, I was kind of mediocre at it or whatever.
No, you would swing it so hard. So would Kevin.
Oh,
you guys try to swing it and then try to aim all the way to the end, but then sometimes you guys miss.
But yeah, anyway, like how, I guess so far since we're all like graduating and whatnot, how has high school like been? And what are a few things like you remember specifically that were just funny or that like you remember?
John.
Funny?
Interesting. We're just mildly interesting.
Miss
I feel like I don't have a lot of stories.
Oh my god, bro. Being in the engineering academy, like we're forced to take engineering elective, right? So in like sophomore year, we had this freaking, I don't know, like this Indian lady who's just like, she had no idea what she was doing, and it was a disaster of a class, to say the least. Like, she got fired the next year, but wow, it was wild.
Oh.
No. Oh. You gotta mention she was PhD teacher.
Oh,
you gotta mention that.
Not to forget her PhD.
Our PhD teacher on day 1, I saw this with my own eyes. Day 1, went up to the the cinder block wall and tried to staple a poster to it. And then she asked us, "Why is it not working?" She literally asked us. We already questioned her. Are you sure you want to staple that to that wall? She's like, yes.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want to staple
onto
She's
a
like, I'm going to staple it. Bro. And she asked us, why is it not working? I was like, it's a brick wall. What else?
That's just Matthew's like key high school memory. Like that whole like scenario is just like a whole mood. Like I don't know what it is. It just embodies like some emotion that's like, you know, like you really try and then you just can't. Like that whole, I don't know, that energy. So something else.
It's relatable.
You know, honestly, like if in 50 years from now, that's probably how I'm about to be. Like, not gonna lie, I'm about to be like that. But I guess like for me, I just sort of remembered this when you guys were talking about debate. I don't really do debate. I do more of like speech, dramatic interpretation sort of things. And so, in one of my like rounds, so basically like it's where like you read like a poem or a selection of poems, and that's like sort of your presentation. And so like usually there's a universal theme around this, like maybe love or sometimes heavy stuff like abuse or I don't know, like racial inequality, stuff like that. And this girl goes up and she's like, her intro to the whole thing is like, okay, guys, I'm going to talk about drugs and how abusing drugs is bad. And I was like, all right, awesome. This is great, cool topic. I'm very interested to see. And she sort of goes through this poem about a girl who like gets into her grandmother's like pill closet or pill like cabinet and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh God, that's crazy. And it turns out she takes these pills, and at the end of it all, like, so it's like, I can't even like tell it with a straight face. Like the pills were laxatives.
Bro.
And I was like, hold on. So this is about overdosing on drugs. This is the worst thing you could have picked. You can use a humorous intro, and at the end of this poem, this girl is she's so like overused. Like she's overused so many laxatives. She's like put into critical condition in the hospital. in the poem.
Overdose on laxatives. Okay, that's something new.
She's like,
man.
Yeah, I judge poetry.
I was like, what? You could have made it funny, but like just the connection between almost dying because of laxatives and saying it's drug abuse, like those things do not connect in any way. But that was something I remember.
Oh man.
I never when I judge poetry ever heard that kind of thing. Never.
Hilarious.
I was like, hey, what kind of I don't even know. It was really funny. That's high school is just a bunch of like, it was like a huge blur. But looking back, I don't remember anything. I just remember like the most pointless things that I don't want.
Yeah.
No, I personally disliked my high school experience because like, I was one of the like 3 Asian kids in my grade, and like I was just in a predominantly like white high school, and I disliked it so much. I wish I'd gone to like public school or something like that. And it honestly it led to a lot of like funny stuff sometimes, but like I don't agree with like any of the way that like any of the faculty like handled any of the like issues concerning the school.
Now, Eddie, you remember the Amazon woman?
Amazon woman?
The swim.
Who are these people, bro?
The swim. When we all get into the mat, those floor mats, and then we all interlock arms, and then all the girls goes ahead and break apart.
That was our little swimming activity. Oh my god, that was freaking wild. Dude, they did.
Dude, for 10 minutes straight, we have girls like attacking us, clawing us.
That was like the most weirdest activity, but it was really good bonding experience for the swim team. Wow, that was crazy.
Yeah. It was the worst thing ever, but we learned to become closer as a team. That's the whole movie.
Oh, I just realized, like, at electrical fire, we just skipped the day in school, and then we have so many fires. In freshman year, we had a electrical fire, so it took out the entire power, or half the power of the school. So we all went home.
I heard about that.
Oh yeah, that one was a crazy fire. Though.
Sophomore year, we have a gas fire.
Yeah, someone actually left a Bunsen burner on, and then it was just.
Everyone panicked in the science room, and then they brought in the fire trucks and everything. We were like, "What happened?" It's like someone left a Bunsen burner on. Gas has been all over. Do we have a fire junior year?
I don't think so.
There's so many.
It's been too calm for the last 2 years, I guess, in terms of fires.
Well, we had Hurricane Harvey.
In terms of fires.
Yeah.
Harvey.
That's true. You know, this is so crazy. You know, you think like natural disasters like Harvey and like this COVID thing would only happen once a lifetime, but now it's just 2 of them within our high school career. That's kind of wild. Not gonna lie.
Wow. Actually, like Harvey was like probably the worst year of my life. I'm not gonna lie. Sophomore year was garbage.
It was pretty gargle for me too. It's like I didn't really get super productive that year. I guess it was kind of like breezing through.
Yeah.
My
Because like,
worst.
I don't know.
That's
When
bad.
ranks came out for me, I was like doing pretty well. And I was like sophomore year, I was like, yeah, if I just keep riding this high, like I'm gonna do super well. I got my rank back again junior year, and I was like, I think I cried. I don't know. I just tanked a little bit. It was just like the expectations that I had were like so much lower at that time, I guess. It was like
Yeah.
freshman years, you feel good about yourself a little bit.
I think my issue, honestly, like through high school, was that I expected like so much of myself. Like I think there were several times freshman year where I actually like I would get like a B on like some minor assignment and I'd cry.
Bet. That's bad.
I'd just cry. And
Yes, the
literally
Asian
looking
life.
back on it, it's like I didn't care that much.
Right.
Actually, for me, I'm quite the reverse. I didn't start
Oh,
out so
wow.
strong freshman year.
You come back.
Freshman year, I didn't actually start so strong, so I was only pretty average with my GPA. Then sophomore year, I worked hard, pushed it up, and I was like, at this rate, I'm going to make it to like the top 5%. And then junior year was when I switched calculus, and it wiped out all my 2 years of work in junior year.
Really?
And then senior year, I had to start back from square one, trying to push it back up, but it's not enough. So.
Well, like I guess when I came into
English,
senior year,
though, man, English was really hard.
English.
Well,
I took too many APs junior year.
Did everyone study for their APs this year?
I was like on a high at first. I was like really trying to study just to end the year off really good because right after I committed to a university, I was like, I'm already in. Like, what can I do anymore? Like, it's already over.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
like
that was me. I stopped doing things after I got accepted, but I got accepted in the fall, and I was like, I don't.
Well, that's a mood still though.
Yeah, I mean, like I got accepted in like around winter break-ish area, but when we came back, I still tried. But now with the whole staying home thing, I'm kind of giving up. Though,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still gonna try hard for AP Bio and Stats because that's something I want to like actually test myself on. AP Bio, yeah. I don't want to let my teacher down because he's one of my favorite teachers. Last year for me, I took a whole bunch of APs.
My suggestion: don't take 6 AP classes. That's just gonna kill
We've all already like reached a point where we can't turn back anymore. So hopefully, people that are hearing this are like taking your advice.
Unless you're the type to like go for burnouts, though. I mean, like sometimes even if you want to get to like Harvard, 6 AP classes aren't worth it. But unless they're like APs that are pretty easy, though. If I don't know, like Psych and Human Geo. Even though they're two
AP
APs,
music theory
get lumped up pretty easy.
Music theory.
Yeah, AP music theory.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it's
Isn't music theory hard? Or was I thinking about art
it's
history?
such like technical. It's like super technical or something, or it's like really, or not technical, like meticulous or. I don't know.
Oh man,
it depends to the student.
My school was like so small that I think we have one AP class that's available, and it's AP.
You had one?
Yes, and it's taught by this like this completely like crazy like old white lady. Like she's the type, and it's so wild because she's just crazy. Like she's senile, and she's teaching this class, and then it was so bad because we had to teach all of like ourselves, like all of our stuff, and like oh my gosh, it was just so bad because. Like she would just not teach, and then she'd be like, "Oh, I'm teaching the wrong thing. Whoops!" And then like not teach.
wow, that sounds crazy.
Wild.
I mean, I guess to ask sort of based on what we've been talking about, like, has there ever like what moment in like during high school did you feel like, oh, I can't do this anymore? Like, was there like a class or like a moment where you just thought to yourself,
do
like,
this anymore?
It was during my sophomore year, and sophomore year. I was taking that dual credit engineering class and then my AP US history class, and like it doesn't like seem like a lot back then, or like looking back on it now. But I also was like, I think at that I wasn't in the spot, but I had like high school swim, and then I was doing bad in geometry because my teacher was like completely incompetent, like actually, like not like I'm just saying incompetent. But like, I had a really bad teacher that year, and I just was not doing really good in any of my classes. And I felt like I was like, oh my God, this is it. I'm going to drop out. I can't do this anymore. It was just really, really, really bad. As far as like my mental health and like how I was doing academically. So, and I think it's because I overloaded myself with a bunch of different classes and activities out of there. Because I think that was my first year as editor for journalism as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, for me, it wasn't really like a mental struggle, but more so I recognize a point where I should probably change my career path. Because at first I went to, aerospace, because I was pretty interested in planes and flying things as a kid, or do biomed engineering back then. And then like junior year was a year that it was already like, I was like, okay, I'm done with engineering. I'm moving on to bio or in the med field. Because like, you remember how we talked about stupid engineering thing from sophomore year? So that year I was already
I'm gonna have to censor this name.
That year I was like, okay, engineering was already kind of dumb, so I'm gonna just that's okay. I still wanted to be an engineer, but I was already losing hope in that field. And then like junior year is when I actually took an aerospace course, and also I took physics, like the first physics AP, and I was like, yeah, this ain't my thing. I'm just like, I finished physics okay with like a pretty lowish A, but the only reason why is because our teacher didn't really teach that well, and also I kind of sucked at it. I only got by because of the really relaxed curve. And also aerospace engineering was even worse because the teacher didn't know how to teach, and he just like blasted through a PowerPoint, and he's just like, okay, now you got this whole assessment, and then it was just like you got to use really big equations, and some of the assignments were like so weird and random. They asked questions like, what school in our school district has a field house named after this aerospace pilot? I'm just like, how am I supposed to know that? So like, I took Eastside last year, and I figured it was pretty good, so I switched. Instead of taking more like physics C or something, I switched to bio because I realized that bio was more of my strength. So I was like, all right, bye engineering, hello medical field and all that. Yeah. And even though in senior year we still had to take another engineering course, my heart just wasn't in it. I was just like,
I mean, it got cut short, I guess. So that's kind of maybe good for you. I don't know.
I was hoping I could drop out of me, but then I was like, yeah, it's too much work. So might as well just go through it for some reason, I suppose. And yeah, I guess that's my struggles, so to speak. I just figured out I didn't like engineering at all. Yeah. Kind of just changed over, so it's all good now.
What about your stocks, Eddie? Last year, that was your...
No, the game stopped, didn't it?
No, but wasn't that quite the struggle when you were negative?
Dude, I was like, when we were in econ, we had to do like this practice stock game, and wow, that was crazy. I went from like last place. I went from like almost last place in my class to being like fourth in the entire grade. That was pretty wild. Oh. Yeah, I hit it big with my money though. This big return. I would be a terrible stock exchanger in real life. I just got lucky.
Yeah, you got lucky with Roku, but
Roku saved my butt back there, man. It went up by like, I don't know, $40 in 1 week per share. Oh man. Should have seen the money. I went from red all the way to green. It was good times.
That's like a really weird flex. Like if you brag that like your stocks went up by that much, but then like you just don't say it was in a game. You just say, yeah, my stocks like increased by that much.
You're the only one that was crazy, yeah.
That's great. I don't know. I guess for me, like it was probably my sophomore year when I was like I was doubling up chem, physics, algebra 2. And so all of those things were really bad. And it was like October when I joined debate, and like I was really bad at debate. Like my mom used to console me like, "No, you're not bad at debate." No, I was really bad. I would never win like more than one round at a time at a tournament, and out of like 4 rounds. So I was really bad. Because I was taking time out of that and like swimming at the same time, and so all of my after school time was like obliterated. And that's when I knew I didn't want to have to do anything with STEM anymore, and I just hated math, I hated physics, and I don't know. I thought I was doing a lot of things just because everyone else was doing it. Everyone was taking physics, everyone was taking chem. I don't know. I didn't really start to pick my own like route, I guess, until like junior year, and then I started doing speech events where I've encountered things like laxative poetry as well. So I don't know. That was just kind of my like change of thought, really quick, but I don't know. Just miss a lot of things.
That's really good, you know. Going against the current is sometimes
it takes like a lot.
Going along the flow, you know. Getting sucked up into them is kind of yeah. I can see that.
You'd think after like 4 years of a math and science curriculum, I'd want to do math and science, but I'm like, I'm out of it. So yeah. But the last response to the question was like totally arbitrary and like really, I don't know, 'cause I asked like, you know, again, what are some things in high school that you regret that like seem really silly now? And this person just wrote like being forever alone. I was like, how am I gonna prompt this?
Being what?
Like, forever alone.
Oh.
It's like, how am I supposed to prompt this to the podcast? Like, this is a really, really like random thing. But I sort of interpreted it as like not having a lot of friends, because I'm not really like, I'm not super outgoing unless I know you very well. So that was how I interpreted it. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
to adjust that? I don't know.
I could relate to some degree. I mean, Elkins, I had some friends, but I mean, like, as of close friends, I didn't really have so many that stuck with me for so long, except for Matthew. So Matthew's a Pogger, bro.
That's so nice.
He stuck with me since like a long time. But there's a few others out there I've known for a while, but I mean, like, actual being like friends for years, not a whole lot of those.
No,
I mean, like, yeah, he's fine, and like Derek and a couple others. But I mean, like,
Filipino.
As for actually being close, yeah, it's probably only Matthew.
Anyway, going back to what were we even talking about before?
Oh yeah, the forever
having friends.
It was like, yeah, I was saying how like I know I'm gonna have to drop out all my buds because I'm going to Boston. I'm gonna have to make some new buds out there because literally no one I know is going to Boston or Tufts. So I mean, I'm just gonna have to flip a page and just start writing some new stuff. But I mean, yeah, I do regret leaving Matthew and my brother and a few others. But I mean, like, hey man, gotta change up life sometimes. So
yeah, that's how it is. In life, you have to go and like forge your own path. As cheesy as that sounds.
Like, I could have went to UT Austin, I guess. I know there's a lot of my old friends going there, but I mean, like,
a lot of people are going to UT Austin.
I feel like they do have a pretty decent biofield, but I feel like if I go to Tufts, it can prepare me more for med school. It's like UT Austin's kind of more broad, and then like, yeah, I'll see more friends, but oh well. Sometimes you gotta take the road less traveled, as they say.
Oh wow, wise words. I'm surprised. Like after all this time, like I know that I have like I'd say like 2 really specific friends from like middle school that I've like still around that I've had for that time. And I'm surprised like I was like worried that you guys wouldn't like answer. But it's like neat that we're all here and it's been that long. It's been like because I kind of met you guys like in 6th grade, so it's been like what, 7 years already? Because it's like we're going to college already.
You're so old, man.
We are old.
We're really old.
Are you guys like all 18? Are we all 18 here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Geez. Even this boy Matthew's 18 now, I think.
Wow.
April 1st.
Yeah, I just turned 18, so I may be the youngest of the group, but I can finally vote.
Oh. Dang, look at this boy over here.
Voting. Single-handedly saving our
democracy. I can't believe though. Finally. been after so many years, and the seniors came out corner.
Yeah. Usually, like towards the latter half of recording, like my friend and I do this thing called deep questions with friends, in which we like ask each other really profound, intellectual, big brain questions, just sort of out there. And the point of it is like to like answer as fast as you can. So it's sort of like not really a speed round, but it's sort of just like as fast as you can sort of thing. Usually that's what we do.
Sounds stressful, you know.
Usually we like Google them online. Like we just look up random questions and then we just pick from like lists that are already out there. Or you can just think of them on your own and answer. But yeah, that's usually what we do.
Yeah, how many Republican presidents are there, and how many Democrat presidents are there?
That's not the point of the segment.
Yeah, trivia. Let's do some trivia.
I don't know, man.
Those test masters trivia.
We're not talking about the SAT, okay? I don't want to for my.
Or what? Name me a model of a car that has all 5 vowels.
What?
What?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm like really thinking about it now. I'm seriously thinking about it.
Is there a brand that actually has all 5 vowels?
Yeah,
I feel like you wouldn't be asking that question. There are 3.
I know one of them.
Okay, name one. Please name one.
Toyota Sequoia.
Really?
The Sequoia.
Toyota Sequoia.
Yeah, all 5 vowels.
Right though.
Dang, bro. Man,
that's a big brain question right there. That's intellectual. Like, why even think when you just have Matthew's question?
That's definitely deep.
Yeah,
really made me think for a bit.
How many presidents are Republican? How many presidents are Democrat? I also know this answer too because I answered this without looking it up. I missed it by 1.
You actually know all. Are you the type of person to memorize all presidents' names and stuff?
I didn't actually.
I don't know. How many presidents even are there? There's like 40 something.
44.
44. Okay. I don't know. Well, if it's anything against my stats class, it's a 50-50 chance. So you gotta go with 22 and 22.
Well, you can't, remember?
Yeah, I know.
The earlier presidents weren't even Republican or Democrat.
That's true. Yeah, they were like federalists and anti-federalists.
You had to cut out until Andrew Jackson. Then that's when Democrats and Republicans started to form. And then you also
Andrew Jackson was like what, number 20? So that leaves us with like around 10 of each then.
No, actually Jackson would put him at 12. Yes, it would put Jackson at 12 or 4 because Lincoln was
16, so it couldn't.
Are you just trying to flex your random knowledge right now?
Yeah.
And
dude,
then
you hear this guy? He's like a history.
How many Republicans?
You gotta remember, Grover Cleveland has 2 separate terms, so they count him president twice. You also gotta count that one out.
Hey Matthew, what'd you get on the A push AP?
What did you get on the A push?
You got a 5, right?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
I got a 5 on that too.
Question: who's on the $100,000 bill?
Oh, I've seen that before, but I don't remember who it was. I've definitely seen
it. You are just asking questions only you know the answer to, and then like when we all don't answer, you just flex.
I know.
This is Matthew's trivia.
I don't actually remember.
Woodrow Wilson, WW.
Why did they even choose Wilson? I don't even remember what that guy did.
World War I.
Huh?
Right?
Oh no, sorry. FDR. No.
FDR?
Oops. This one I don't remember now. I didn't realize.
Oh
no. I tricked myself because one of them is on the $10,000 Grover Cleveland's $10,000 bill. $100,000 should be Woodrow Wilson or FDR. The $100 bill is Ben Franklin, 20 is Jackson, 10 is Hamilton, 5 will be Lincoln, 1 is Washington, $2 bill is Thomas Jefferson. Okay, I don't know who's on the 100,000 anymore.
Okay.
Oh, you guys need puts out some trivia.
I don't know any trivia questions. I'm a dry person. I'm a really dry person.
Normally during this segment we ask like really subjective, confusing questions. So I don't know. Maybe let me just pull up one that's like totally ridiculous.
Like the good old "what do you think happens after we die" question. I don't know.
Kind of.
I read you remember the story about how this guy dies and then like he goes up to heaven and asks God, "How can I be like you?" And then God said how like he was once a human, but then he like after he dies, he reincarnates as another living thing. So like every time a living thing dies, it just reincarnates as like something else. But like all these organisms are actually one soul just being continuously dying and reincarnating. And then eventually when it lives through becoming everything, he becomes God itself. Like, I was like, dang, that's pretty crazy, dude.
Why does that sound like an anime plot?
It does!
Sounds like an anime plot.
Yeah,
I just
don't remember
watching
what it was called. I just remember reading it years ago, and it stuck in the back of my brain for a while. And it was like, that's
most
wild.
popular anime, Haikuyu.
What?
Trending anime right now, Haikuyu.
Never heard of
volleyball.
I watched it with my brother, but it just got so repetitive. Like I could predict like who would win and what player would do what. I just gave up. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. So I remember Gabby, you were like recommending that I watch Free, and I remember watching the first episode, and I was like, logically, it like doesn't make sense. Like I don't know, like just I don't know. It was just a really weird experience watching Free.
No, see, you watch Free so you can watch that, like, so you can watch 50% off. And 50% off is not that crazy, like, those people who, like, redid the anime. But, like, it's funny.
Oh, like on crack? Like that?
Yes!
I think I saw that.
Are we asking any more difficult trivia questions?
I'm gonna try and be fast with these. If you could swap lives with someone for a day, who would you choose and why?
Oh,
what?
I don't know. That's such a random.
It is random. I'm just pulling up like the most random.
My cat got
your
the
cat?
easiest life on the earth. That's it.
Cat would be pretty nice to live at, I guess.
Yeah, no responsibility.
Well, it depends what kind of cat. Like a domesticated cat or like a tiger or something. I don't know. Imagine just like living a day as an apex predator. That's pretty cool, I guess.
Tigers cool too.
Well, technically, humans are apex predators.
Yeah, but I mean like a uncivilized apex predator, so to speak. You know, the one that just like wanders around the jungle and whatever, and just like, yeah, I do whatever I want.
All right. Next question. What are the top 5 things you are grateful for?
Grateful?
Like at this moment, like that you're grateful for. It can be something totally.
What I'm grateful for.
I'm here.
That I got into the college I want to go to. That no one in my family is sick from COVID right now, and that we're pretty like we're doing really well through like life. I'm really grateful that school's ending this week for me.
Oh,
that I have no finals.
Oh man.
Oh.
Dude, I have like I'm so behind on my online assignments.
Me too.
I haven't touched for like a week.
I'm collapsing. I'm struggling. Name me a Disney movie where you never see the villain.
What?
Come on, trivia.
Frick, I don't remember.
I'm like legitimately.
All the Disney movies I watched were like way back in the day. I don't even remember.
Yeah, like old school movies, like old school Disney movies.
Wait, hold on. If I remember correctly, WALL-E was about a dystopian society, but I don't remember the actual main protagonist. I mean, the antagonist of WALL-E. It's kind of
it's Otto, and whoever to go for.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I forgot completely about that. I just remember WALL-E was something.
I thought you were gonna say you forgot the protagonist, and I was gonna say you forgot it was.
I don't remember, bro. My Disney movie lore is really not that good.
No, Eddie, you have to go older than Wally. It's way older.
Really? Like how old?
Plus, Wally's Pixar, which is owned by Disney.
It's Pixar.
I always lump up Pixar with Disney ever since they joined up, but I mean, like,
I'm like really racking my brain. Like now I'm trying to.
I don't know, bro.
I feel like you just hold all the answers.
Yeah.
We're just sitting here like confused the whole time.
Man, ask the deepest questions.
All right, here's a hint. The characters are animals.
Is it Bambi?
Not Lion King. You have Scar.
It could be Bambi. You might be right because there's no explicit like villain, right? I don't think so. I saw Bambi like one time.
I mean, I feel like Scar is a pretty noticeable villain.
Yeah, it's Bambi.
You were right.
Bambi?
I mean, the only Disney movie where you never see the villain, which supposedly it's the hunter, but you only see the shadow.
That makes sense.
And you never see the rest of it.
You never see them. Yeah.
Bro, I don't even remember Bambi, but I just remember that his mom was killed, and that's it, bro. It's been like a solid decade since I saw anything related to that kind of stuff.
We live in a society. It really be like that. I guess this one's kind of. I asked this one before in our first episode, but I asked, what is some advice that you've taken, and have you followed it, or have you not followed it, and why?
Advice, huh?
Like from anyone. Like,
I haven't really asked people for advice, or not many people told me. I kind of just do my own thing and just see what happens. I'm kind of like, wherever the wind blows, I guess I'll go. But sometimes it's really just up to me. Whatever goes, I just kind of follow with it. Not many people really just say, "Oh, do this." I kind of just, play my own game. But I don't really know, man.
I took my parents' advice for debate.
Like to do it or just
to do it?
Oh, yeah.
And then look at me now, I'm the Congress captain for debate. So
wow, flex. Matthew's just out here flexing. Like you came in prepared to flex. I don't know. Just out here
flexing with his Toyota Sequoia and dollar bill lore. This man's got everything.
Oh yeah, the president. Hold up. So there are 19 Republican presidents and 17 Democrat presidents.
Yay!
Wow, and that's really close to what I said. Oh wait, no, I said 10 each. Yeah, so it's 19 and 17, huh? Wow, look at this kid.
This guy
definitely knows his presidential lore.
Presidential lore.
I mean, I can't even name. So I hope someone can name all the presidents.
Not me. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison. And it goes as far as that.
Polk.
Yes.
Polk, and then James Quincy Adams, then Polk. And
so then you're flexing again.
It
wasn't even.
Oh, Andrew Jackson. Oh wait,
you skipped a couple from that.
There's a couple in that middle that no one cares about, like John Tyler. So.
Oh yeah, no one.
You still got them, even though you were like, yeah, I don't know. Like, never mind, I do know.
I only got to 4 before I called it quits.
Buchanan.
So, yeah, that's cool.
Buchanan, Lincoln. Who's after Lincoln? Johnson. Then Ulysses S. Grant. And then Garfield. I am pretty sure I'm skipping some, so.
Oh, my bad. I'm skipping some.
Grover Cleveland. Then
what about Chester Arthur? That guy got killed a while ago, so no one remembers him.
Garfield, yeah. Oh, that's right.
William Harrison.
William Harrison. that guy that died in like 40 days in office.
Oh yeah, he gave a speech and he got cold and died, right?
Yeah.
Love that guy.
We go to Theodore Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson.
To rename.
There's a corrupt politician, I think Harding, and then after him is
Coolidge. Harding and Coolidge.
Harding, Coolidge, and then who's the guy after Coolidge? He's responsible for the financial Great Depression.
I remember that guy, but I don't know his name. Freak.
And
how do I not remember his name?
Like, even though we don't intend to answer the question, like, we just end up getting drawn into it anyway.
Yeah.
So we just want to answer the question.
I actually don't remember his name. It's kind of silly. Who is that dude?
Now I'm looking it up because I can't. Now it's like stuck in my. I can't even.
Great Depression. Great
Depression president.
I'm serious. That's the only.
I just looked up Great Depression president and it was Hoover. It just says Hoover.
Herbert Hoover. Oh my god, bro! I forgot that name.
And we moved to FDR.
From my mind.
FDR, Truman.
FDR.
Truman, Eisenhower. After Eisenhower's JFK. After JFK would be Lyndon B. Johnson. LBJ is then George Bush. Oh no, Nixon. There we go. Richard Nixon, and then Gerald Ford, and then George Bush. Oh no, Ronald Reagan, George Bush, the senior. Clinton, and then
none of
George
us know.
Bush. Yeah, Bill Clinton, George Bush the junior, and then we move on to Barack Obama, and then Trump. All right, there we go.
Dang,
got it. I probably skipped like a dozen of them, but who cares about the dozen?
Look at this boy, he's
flexed yet again.
Got it, man. All about that presidents.
Yeah, look at that American history.
This is just the
That's
history.
What gets you a 5 on WAP and A push, fellas. You remember all the presidents? That's it, man.
Oh yeah, what about E plumus unum, the Latin word on
God, why are you doing that?
What you said? So I asked some questions, right? Here's some trivia
questions about getting to know what you're interviewing. Well, I mean, I know that about you now. That's great. Good for you.
No, seriously, E plumus unum. That was it the AP or the STARS question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of that one. It means like together as one or something like that.
No, it's out of many. Out of many, there's one.
Oh yeah, close enough, Out of many, one. Together as one. Yeah, that's close enough. Yeah, I remember that. Except it's been a while since A push. I don't remember anything from last year, but it's cool.
What regrets would you have if you were to die today?
What regrets? Wow, that's a really
Ooh.
For
not
me,
telling like all my friends like how much they like meant to me.
That's a good.
Well, you said it to us now, so that's all. We know each other for granted, I guess. I don't know. If I were to die really suddenly, I don't know. To be honest, I guess I just want to see how my life unfolds, see whatever is going on. It's like, I see my life as kind of a story. Just be ashamed to cut it short right now when things are getting heated up, I guess you can say, when I'm going to college. If I just end my story here, oh well, what a pity that would be, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know.
This is a dark subject, huh?
I guess. Mine was like kind of
atmosphere, and it's like, it just got real dark all of a sudden.
for me, I don't know, like my stomach started feeling weird like just now, so I guess it would be having too much. Like, have you had that whipped coffee thing yet?
Oh my god,
I drank too much of
that
that today.
Every single day.
I've been chugging it every day. It's so bad.
You
like
guys
brother,
need some serious, need some help there.
Like my brother has a cup that's like maybe this tall, maybe a little shorter than this, right?
Oh
and
my
like he just,
God.
it's like a mason jar, maybe like if you imagine like 3/4 of this container here, and like he just chugs it down with dalgona coffee. He just chugs the whole thing.
Oh my!
How does he not throw
God.
it back up all in
Don't
one go? Wow.
I don't know, but that would be my regret right now, and sort of like what Gabby said, not being able to talk. What is one thing, I guess, in your life you would have done differently? Like, what is a really big choice that like you made, and looking back on it, how would you have done it?
Probably like focus more on school. Like I already have like pretty good grades, but I could probably be not in the top 10%, but the top 10, because the top 10% is like 4 people. But I definitely could have done a lot better than I like did.
Mhm. Okay, let's see.
Well, I mean, I don't really have many regrets.
That's good.
But,
For me, it's debate.
I guess if I wanted to, huh? Well, I mean, it was a learning experience. That means I just learned that I was bad at something, so I guess that was good. But I mean, like, I guess these last 2 years, I really haven't been trying for spa a whole lot. I guess if I put in some more effort, I could become a better swimmer. But to me, academics is always a priority, so I kind of just glazed over that. I don't really have much regrets other than that. But I mean, that's about it. So
That's fair. I guess, let's see. If this one's like kind of, I don't know, an interesting question. If you were given a large sum of money, in this moment, what would you do with it?
What's a large sum have to do?
This one, I think, on this website says $1 billion.
Oh, $1 billion.
Oh my god. Literally, I would pay for my college and then just buy my parents like houses.
That's the Asian dream.
Onto the stock market. Everything is down right now, bro.
Buy the
stock.
Actually, I would.
Even if I lose it all, it doesn't matter because it's not.
I'd probably only trust stocks.
Donate to church and then put it in the stock market.
Oh, very nice. Very charitable.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Fund the COVID. But if you had $1 billion, I guess donating it, like at least half of it to COVID research is going to be really beneficial.
Yeah.
Or like spread it out to local businesses and stuff to keep them afloat.
Yeah, I'd probably go and support a lot of the local businesses in Siena because, like, I know they're going through it right now.
For sure.
They already put $500 billion for small businesses. Is all gone already.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because like it's been a few months that's been going on.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
This one's sort of subjective. This will be our last question, I guess, since it's winding down a little bit. Can we wrap up with just one more question, and then we'll get off?
All right, let's see. What's this one going to be?
What would the world be like if you hadn't been born?
Oh shoot! Wow, that's
no.
deep.
Like actually, my mom would have been a surgeon. Like that's actually what would have happened.
Wow, really?
Yeah. She didn't go to medical school. She met my dad.
Ah.
Dang, bro. That's kind of crazy. Well, I don't know, because like if one event doesn't happen, it's gonna cause a whole butterfly effect kind of deal. So that'd be kind of crazy to think about. Like, if I weren't born, probably it wouldn't be COVID right now. I don't know. could be something like that, or maybe the world ends after like 3 years. I don't know, bro.
No, Eddie, you guys won't meet me at all from the swim.
I mean, yeah, but that's what happened if any of us weren't born. We wouldn't meet each other anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd just be 3 of us sitting around this meeting, not 4. So, or maybe we wouldn't even have made this group in the first place. Yeah, especially if Matthew didn't start the whole Filipino versus Chinese thing, we wouldn't have started.
We'd be as close as we were. Not gonna lie. Yeah.
We wouldn't have started this Asian gang thing if it weren't.
Hey, don't worry. You know, the Team Asia, Team China winning.
We're all Asians. It's
yeah, like there'd be Asians, but like we probably wouldn't take it to this kind of level. So,
yeah,
that's a pretty
Mr. Hook. Mr. Hook, he said that Filipinos are not real Asians because they don't use chopsticks.
Wait, who said?
Really?
Who
Is
said?
that so?
I remember we were swimming once, and like I think to like ask me whether or not Philippines was like whether the Philippines was considered Pacific Islander or Asian, and I was like, bro, I would know. I'm Filipino. He was like, no,
like way back in the day. Oh my god, that guy was wild.
I liked it. It was cool.
He was cool. It was just like that was like the golden era of like swimming for me. It was just like early middle school. That was like that was so fun. And like 8th grade when we met Raph and Lena, like those like 3 years were so fun.
Literally, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, then when we started to go to high school, man, and then after Bob's, it was like, oh, rip. Under the first year, it was okay, but then like as junior year came around, 6 APs was no joke, man. I had to just, I couldn't swim because I was so tired out from school with so much homework, and yeah, it just seemed that the sets were like less. I don't know. Maybe it was because my perception of swimming has just been dulled out, and it's like, okay, well, whatever is whatever. If I skip practice, I used to skip once a week, then I skip twice, and then now I skip 5 days. Now I come to practice once a month. Yeah, the progression just gets worse and worse. So
I remember Coach 2-mile runs.
Jesus, yeah, we had to run forever.
We would mess around with each other in the back though. Like we would just like annoy each other in the back of the line. And you used to run with Crocs, dude.
Oh yeah. That was
iconic.
That was iconic. I still in the last recent few years, I still wore Crocs and sweatpants to every single dry lands because I just couldn't get shoes. But
yes.
Yeah.
Asian shortcuts. Those Asian shortcuts, guys.
Man. I remember when Will first joined the team. You remember when he was so slow at swimming, like when he first joined? Then he just came out of nowhere and just like wrecked everyone's.
Well, yeah, because he's ripped.
He was already good at running to begin with, but like I thought he was gonna be an okay swimmer, but then now he's like a pog,
It's like every time I see Raph, he's like, oh, at one point I used to be like slower than you, and he says that every time he sees me. And I tell him this. I'm like, every time you see me, you say that. And he's like, really? I forget. Like, we're just.
So you call me flexing, and when written reality, Raph is flexing.
Yeah, Raph would be flexing everywhere.
You're flexing your historical knowledge.
Like
he's all about physical,
You subscribe to your channel?
Yes, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel.
I would definitely subscribe it.
It's called Armbridge Podcast. It's a really weird name.
Just type it out in the chat because I don't know.
Yeah, I'll type it in the chat. Send a link.
We gotta get it to surpass Kenneth's channel though.
Yeah. 2.1 million subscribers.
There's this kid in our grade called Kenneth, and his family does like a toy review channel, and they have 2 million subscribers. No joke.
In your grade, 2 million?
2 million, bro. His family's a pogger.
Nah, you gotta tell him about his most viewed channel. His most viewed video is 147 million. The one video.
Yeah, bro. His family makes some like crazy views off YouTube though.
Wow, that's about to be us, guys.
Well, we just gotta get this video up there, man.
But I guess
my phone's gonna die.
Okay, all right. Let me just. I'll read my conclusion, then we'll finish. Okay. Again, everyone, what started in quarantine has now come to a non-temporary end. Hopefully, you all enjoyed our impromptu speed round question session at the end, which I now have to call Matthew's trivia time. we'd like to credit. I'd like to credit my guests for coming out today. Thanks, guys. It was really hard, sort of getting everyone together, and like after our first technical difficulty, I got really nervous about that. So yeah, thank you for that. Also, in addition, thank you to the few people that submitted to the question I sent on Instagram, and we hope you continue to join us every Tuesday for more advice and overall shenanigans. Until next time, this is Armbridge Podcast. Thank you, everybody.